What up, dudes? What's up, replay viewers? You guys are gonna get a real sneak peek of the latest drone vid. Look how freaking sick that is, man. It's gonna look a lot better when it's not screen on screen. You can actually like see it. I'll put that grass in there. It was pretty baller. See that sand area? That's our fire pit area. Feels like you're at the beach. That's E1 getting the exhaust and intake put on it. A little A-frame next to it. That's Woody. That's D Woody. He says he's not a pretty Woody. Look at that, look at that, look at that. He's checking himself out. Check that out, dude. He's checking himself out in the mirror. It's ridiculous. And then you got Mr. Burns tearing it up on the Bobcat over there, loading up his truck, hauling that thing off to the dump. And this is kind of cool. This is what I want to talk about, man. Look at these 3500s. These 3500s are just ridiculously versatile. That's a 20-yard box on the back of that thing. So, anyway, later. What's up, dude? I live near Luke Scott. Cool to see. All right, so it's good that you're talking about Luke because Luke is going to get a small... I'm going to pick on Luke a little bit, and he's going to get some free press. So he's going to be totally cool with it. So, I want to point out one thing that was very, very interesting that's happened. What's up, man? What's up, Thompson? Country boy, what's up? Country boy inviting followers. That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I'm talking about. We got the cat hat on today. Had the cat hat on last night, but the lighting was shit. Yo, where's Top Notch, dude? Where is Top Notch? Brian, where you at? Good Christian man, Luke. All right, so here is one thing that I thought was interesting about Luke was, and this is like a total hack. Like, this is just a perfect example of a dude hacking it. So, and by hacking, I mean finding a shortcut. You can get the A to C a lot faster if you can cut out B in some sort of way. So Luke hits me up, and yeah, Top Notch should be cleaning up his garage, man. He needs to clean up that office, man. He's got like Kleenex in the back and like, you know, Battle of the Sexes hanging up. I'm like, bro, you gotta get that as the stuff clean. But so Luke hits me up. We've been emailing back and forth, and he asks like really insightful questions, right? And so like 3 or 4 email exchanges through, like I find out a little bit about him, and like the dude like, you know, he basically approached me. He's like, hey man, like a lot of people on YouTube, a lot of people on Instagram, like, do you think I need to like be doing that? Because like I'm running like a profitable business. Like I don't see how that ties into my business. Like, am I missing out on something? Like, what am I doing wrong? And our email, just hit us up on the website. It is, well, you can be Travis at gojitsupply.com or gojitsupply.com. That'll bring you hit a contact form there. I'll get that email. So anyway, so he's like, dude, am I what's up? Like, should I get on this? And I was like, yeah, you know, like Periscope's a new platform. Like, if you can rock it, rock it. And there's different reasons. But basically, like, Luke approached it and he's like, dude, like, how are some of these people like monetizing it? Like, how are they paying for their time like to do this? And we went back and forth, and I showed him different ways that like in the future it will be monetized, and you know, but for the most part it's really not. It's just kind of for fun. And so like I was like, dude, I just encourage him, like, just do some Periscopes, just get him going. And like today, you know, I see him and he's got like his first Periscope. It's like his subject line is like towing, and the next one, like, and he goes a little bit trigger happy on him. He goes like towing continued, and then the next subject line is more toes. And then the next Periscope, like, he's just killing on Periscope today. And yeah, I mean, maybe your clients look at Instagram, but like maybe not, like probably not. Like, all my clients are like old ladies for the most part. I mean, my homeowners, and then I got like landscapers, they probably do. But then like his next one is just systems, and the next one after that is sales, and they're all like 4 or 5 minute Periscopes. So it's like somewhat appropriate, but it's kind of annoying. And I hit him up with an SOP, and I'm like, hey man, like, because I've got a relationship with you, like, here's my SOP. This is my strategic operating procedure, and like, this is just kind of the format that we rock Periscope. And like, here it is, just take it, and like your next one, like I'll hit you on some shares, and B&B, you know, like he's already shared for you, and like you'll get your first initial following rocking that way. And like, so he hits, yeah, I'll send it to you, like, for sure. And it's just like initial SOP, and like I edit it after every show. I watch the replay, and I'm like, that was shitty, this is good, people drop off, people don't give a shit about that, whatever. And like his next one, after listening to that or reading that SOP, just real short SOP, his next subject line is guns, choppers, and landscapes, 3 exclamation points. And I'm like, finally. Because Luke is a freaking Marine. He's a scout sniper. Like, it's pretty fucking legit. Like, he's like, you know, leave him in the middle of the woods and like come back for him like a week later and like a month later, or like if you're not supposed to be there, like forget his name even existed, maybe he'll show up at Christmas. Like that's, you know, he does that type of shit, you know. And his brother like flies like Blackhawks, which is also kind of the same thing. It's kind of like, yeah, if that shit goes down and like, you know, rescue missions like kind of like hard, it's kind of like, oh, fuck it, you're on your own, hopefully you're a badass. And so like that's who these brothers are, and they're running this company up in Virginia, and they've got a good little company going on. They got some roll-off dump trucks, and they've got some skid steers, and they got some cool stuff going on. But like in his first Periscopes, you don't get that. But then once he gets the SOP and he kind of introduces himself and he kind of changes the title, you totally see it just immediate improvement, like without watching any game film, any replay views. So the reason I bring that up to start off today is, if you know the SOP, if you have someone else's SOP that you can take and that you can then like hack it. B&B, like Blake, you're not gonna rock an SOP, man. You're just gonna go random as hell as always. But like, if you can take a system and then kind of edit that system, kind of customize that system, but you can start with a system that has like 80% of the right things figured out to start with, you can hack it a lot faster. And Stacey and I were talking about this tonight at dinner, but I'm like, you know, I see a lot of dudes in our town, and like they're doing like the 20, 30 year, 35 year. Yeah, hit me up on the email. Just say you want the SOP. I'll get it over to you. And like they're rocking like 30 years. And I'm looking at the end results. Like I'm looking at a lot of guys, like, because I'm putting together this kick-ass course. I'm interviewing a lot of 60-year-old dudes. And I'm talking to a lot of fucking dudes. I'm talking about their net worth. Like talking about, what do you have in the bank? Do you own this property you're sitting on? Do you own that truck? Like what did you do right? What did you do wrong? And I'm just trying to freaking formulate it. And what I've freaking figured out is like everything that these dudes have, like 60 years old, like dude, you could have done it in 10 years. Like if you had the right SOP, you could have done it in 10 freaking years. Let me give you just an idea, just a thought experiment. I'm not saying that this is a game plan. I'm not saying this is right for your market. I'm not saying this is right for you as an individual, as a leader, as an entrepreneur. But let me just give you an idea. You start out, you're working a job, or you're living at home. If you're living at home, you're 16, you're 15, you got a huge advantage, man. You got a huge advantage. I had that advantage. I started out, I was 15 years old. I built my first lawn company. I sold it a week after high school graduation. All my buddies were getting like, you know, high school graduation gifts, couple grand here, $5,000 here. Lived kind of in a Ritchie high school area. I got $50,000 a week after high school for selling my company to a concrete company and going to college. Like I went to college, I had like 50 G's like in my pocket. Like I could do whatever the hell I wanted, you know, like 18 years old, which is freaking cool. But like it took me, I don't know, I did that again, and I did it in 14 months. The next time. So the first time it took me like 3 years, 15 to 18. Next time it took me like half that time. And then the time after that took me like a year. And like I did it 4 different times. And I basically like, I don't know, I just thought about it, and I was like, if you just start out, like, yeah, if you could stay home, bank, but like it doesn't matter really where you're at. But like the point is, like, let's just hypothetically go through the 10-year lifespan of a landscaper. Not the 20-year, not the 30-year, like, dude, some of these guys, like, their bodies just wore the fuck out. Like, they just never really got it figured out, or they got to a point where they're comfortable, they plateaued, and they never really built an asset that, like, they could spin off, they could sell off, worked for them. And so, like, let me just rock through a real quick scenario. I sold some accounts and equipment, and then I had other ones where I sold the whole business, the name, the phone number. So I had different things like that. But, like, your first year, you start out in the landscape business and you have an SOP. You have a system for picking up accounts that is foolproof. It's just a numbers game. So you put effort in and you get X amount of effort out, and it's predictable effort. So you know at the beginning of the year what the hell you got to do to get what you want at the end. And first year, you get your first 50 clients. So you start out with your shit pickup truck, you start out with a shit lawnmower, and you get your first freaking 50 accounts. You got 365 days, and by the end of it, you need to have 50 freaking people on your spreadsheet. That is doable. That is totally possible. Your second year, you go out, you got initial capital, you're doing all the work yourself, so all that money is coming right on into your bank account. You're holding on to it. You invest a little bit, get some faster equipment, you get an employee. You go up to 100 accounts. Now you got 2 employees probably. You know, so you guys are doing 100 lawns. This is your second year in business, you're still working the truck. Your third year on the truck, you got that one guy that was with you at the beginning, maybe, but you got him trained up. Maybe he's been around for only 6 months now because you had some turnover. But if you had the right SOP, you might have hired the right guy at the beginning. And if you did, he's got 2 years experience, so you're good to go. You can leave that truck to him. He can run it. Now you're starting your second truck. and you go out and you get yourself like, 3,500 flatbed like we have. You're doing landscape work with it because you got 100 accounts that want mulching and they want tree service and this and that. You get yourself a little skid steer. You got your cash because you've been working for 2 years. You got yourself a crap skid steer, and you're following my SOP and you're rocking some landscaper sales. So you got a Bobcat, and you're just calling up all the landscapers. You're like, hey, man, I got a Bobcat. Just want to let you know if you guys need help ripping out trees and shit, just call me. And then all of a sudden you get like 10 landscapers, and like your phone just rings every week, and people just book you. So now you got like a truck and a half of lawns, and then you got like another truck that does like your landscaping / other people's landscaping. And like this is like year 3. So now you've got like 4 or 5 employees, maybe, and you've got a Bobcat system, you've got the start of a supply company. And what's really cool about a supply company is that it lets you capitalize on time so much better than labor. Like, labor is tough to compete in. You honestly, anyone watching this Periscope doesn't really have an advantage in labor. Advantages in labor go away. You get foreign competition, you get automation in the future. Prices for labor are down because everyone can do it, so they just get lower and lower. But either way, like at year 3, you've kind of got it sort of figured out. And then you still got 7 years left. So, like, if you just triple that over the next tripling, so you got 6 year and then 9 year, by the time you get to your 10th year, you're doing $3-4 million a year. You could sell that company for 1 times revenue plus equipment. You could sell that bitch for $3-4 million. And it's been 10 years now, so you start at 25, now you're 35. You start at 40, now you're 50. You start at 50 and you're like, oh my God, I don't have a retirement plan. Fuck it, you don't need a retirement plan. Because, like, and supply could work in your area. Like, it could work in your area, because like here's the thing with supplies. Like supply, like if you think about it, like there's nothing stopping me tonight from putting a plow on E1 and going anywhere I want. I could be at Blake's house in 24 hours. Blake has the accounts. He's like, dog, I just sold like 55 driveways. You'd be here. I could ride up with the truck like in 24 hours, and I can bring 3 of them with me. And so supply like kind of scales. You can also jump on a lot of these apps, and you can start doing loads. Like you can start driving loads like for U-Ship, like anywhere you want. You want to drive them to Georgia, up to Tennessee, back, this, that. But like the point is like going to B to B. So like not BB lawn care, but like business to business is going to let you have one interaction but more dollar bills. And it doesn't really matter what your niche is. And one thing I want to point out is like where I got my SOP from. Was like, I got my SOP from a guy named Eric Triplett, and Eric has a company called Pond Digger, and he's just a freaking baller on Periscope. Like, I'm going to say he's the best landscaper on Periscope. The guy is a fucking boss. Like, he's just really, really, really fucking good. Like, the Pond Digger is fantastic. And so I took his show, I dissected it, I looked at it, and he actually helped coach me a little bit, which is where I went with Luke, because, like, Pond Digger asked me, like, he had asked me a question, like, tell me about yourself, this, that, and I, like, started to pitch myself, like, hey, I built and sold 4 lawn landscape companies. I started a supply company because I saw a gap in the market. My supply company is very Uberish. We don't have 7 supply yards within 4-mile radius of me, so it'd be hard to compete with them. Maybe, but if your trucking game, if your free delivery game was sick, and then all of a sudden you force those supply yards to start going mobile, but you own the mobile game, well, now they've got the fixed cost of the supply yard, but they got to compete with you on the mobile game, so they're split. Or you go to those supply yards and you're like, dude, let me be your delivery service. Like, get rid of your shit delivery trucks. Like, just let me own your delivery service. Like, we'll split revenue. So anyway, there's possibilities there. I get it. Not every metropolitan area is going to be an ideal candidate for supply, but it scales more. And like the point is like with Eric is like he had this SOP. He had this excellent pitch. He knew exactly where it was. He had a monetization game, so he was driving traffic, and then he builds and sells pond equipment, really. But like if you learn a pond project like what Eric's pushing, and you just master making beautiful ponds, you don't need anything but a shovel and a wheelbarrow. And as much as that kills me, I want to see everyone get mini excavators. But like he's like, nah, dude, that's how I started, like shovel and wheelbarrow, bro. Like just shovel, wheelbarrow, you order in your rocks, you order in your plastic, you put it in, you put the pump in the ground, you get an electrician to do the wiring, you're good, man. You put the koi in there, you get yourself a $15,000 project for sure. All, straight margin. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. So like if you could master that type of project and then start working business to business, so start going to other landscapers and you're like, bro, I got ponds figured out. Like, I got them figured out, and I'll cut you in on it, and boom. Well, now you're starting to just accumulate your, more clients. You're branching off, you're niching yourself, you're differentiating yourself. But the point is if you had somebody else's SOP, You could hack, you could cheat, you could basically get ahead faster than anyone else who's figuring it out on their own. Like, there's been thousands of people that have been there, have failed at that, figured things out, re-iterated it. Like, you don't have to go through the same failures. You just have to be like, hey man, what do I do, what do I don't do, get the SOP, and then like edit it as you go. So like, I just bring that up because like I hear a lot of guys and they're talking about like websites. Like, they're talking about like getting a website, and I'm like, dude, website's a pain in the ass. Like, my website's not where I want it to be. It's going to take us like probably 20 hours labor and probably like a couple grand to get it to like how I want it to be. And I want my website to be like really freaking awesome. But people are like, yeah, I want a website just so like, you know, I can pick up residential mowing accounts. And I'm like, why don't you just get a landing page? It's $10. You just Google landing page companies. You sign up for a subscription. It's $10. You pick a template. You put your name in it. You hit the URL. So you buy your URL right through the landing page company. So there's another $5. So now you're like $15 for the year. And like, oh, but I want it to rank at the top. Oh, just go to Google Pay per Click. Put $50 in. Just put $50 in. Like, this is 10% of the cost of your website that you're talking about. And like, this is taking us like 20 minutes. Like, we're almost done now. And then what you're going to do is like, people are going to type in lawn service like Baltimore, whatever, and they're going to come on. The first thing that's going to pop up is going to be your freaking landing page, and they're going to come to the landing page, and it's going to be the copy. It's going to be one paragraph of like best lawn service, da-da-da-da, address, first name, email. We'll have a quote to you in 24 hours. You take that address, you pop it into Google Earth, take a screenshot of it, put it into a nice little email template with a nice little bid, and you just change the number at the bottom. Just change the name at the top, change the number at the bottom. It's already pre-written, all this other shit. Now you're scaling sales. So like, all right, so 10 people a day go to Google and they click that, and they cost you $5 a day, 50 cents a click, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, just start pumping money in. So like, you know, like if you're getting like 4 accounts for every like $100 you spend, so it's costing you $25 to get an account, and like obviously you're making it back on your first month. So every month you just get another, you know, you just keep pumping in. But like, that's a system, like that's a hack. Like, when everyone's like, where do I find out? Just Google landing page. Just Google landing page, and whatever pops up, and whatever's like kind of pricey but looks simple, like probably just go with that. But like, just get a landing page with the URL, and then use Google Pay per Click. And you can go on YouTube, or you can even buy a course for like $5. Or you can go to Fiverr. Go to Fiverr.com and just tell someone. Just be like, hey, fucking Philippines people, like, I want this, I want that. Just write a nice little easy to read paragraph. This is what I want. Bullet points. Boom, boom, boom. And they're gonna be like $5, and you're just gonna be like, boom, credit card done. Tomorrow morning you'll wake up, you have a URL and a password. And it's like done. Like, you don't have to waste your time with like a website. And then like later on, you want to like build up a blog. You want to put some affiliate products on there. Like, you want to say like, hey, I'm repping Echo now, and Echo's giving me like, you know, $300 a month to put them on my awesome blog because I have 5,000 viewers a month on my blog. Like, okay, now that's a different business model. That's a different cash flow stream. But you don't need that daddy website to like pick up 100 lawn accounts. And if the goal is to pick up 100 lawn accounts, you don't need it. The goal is to pick up 200 lawn accounts. You don't need it. Your residential homeowners are not going to your website. And like, the only thing the website's doing for you is knocking you points. Like, my website's kind of embarrassing still. Like, it looks good, but like, it's still like, you know, it's still like, sometimes it's more of a liability than it can be an asset. You know, you go to a guy who's got a poorly built website, and you can tell, like, you know, competition in the town clearly put 10 grand into a web development program, and you just didn't, which is okay. You don't have to, but you can get a fresh looking landing page, and it's exactly what I want. I want it to pop up on my phone. Like, I bought a new home. I want a lawn service, and boom, boom, boom. Type in my landing page. Oh, sweet. Dude, oh, fuck yeah. You're going to give me a quote in 24 hours? Perfect. Because I got moving boxes. You guys ever moved in a new place? Here's the SOP for moving into a new place. You call your boys, and you're like, hey, man, I'm moving. But, like, you don't tell them that. You're like, hey, we come over Saturday, help me out. Oh, yeah, man, cool, yeah, man, I'm moving. Oh. All right, man, yeah, I'll help you out. Fuck, can't believe this guy wrote me in. Yeah, man, new apartment's on the 3rd floor. There's no elevator or anything like that. I got a couple couches and a couple desks. It's gonna be a bitch, you know? And, like, anyway, you move in, and then you bust out that air mattress. Everyone's moved into a new place. This is your first night. You don't have the internet on. You know what I mean? You don't have your TV hooked up. You order pizza. There's beer in the fridge. So in the morning, you got beer and pizza because you gave your boys beer after they left. You're like, thank you, man. Sorry. Hope we're still friends. But, like, then you're like, oh, shit. Like, if it's a house, you're like, oh, fuck, that lawn hasn't been mowed in, like, 6 fucking weeks because these assholes that sold this house or whatever just canceled the lawn service. You're like, damn it. You get on there, you know, this is, you know, whatever. And it's like, oh, perfect. This guy popped up first. Oh, mowing and growing, Australia. Oh, well, I live in Australia. Yeah, freaking perfect. This guy will give me a quote in 24 hours, and then he emails me back with a nice like, and you can make it nice. You go to Fiverr again, and get yourself a really sick estimate. And all you gotta do is change the picture at the top. Just screenshot the picture, change the picture at the top, change the name at the top, change the estimate at the bottom, like the number. And every time people get it, they're like, oh my god, he spent like 30 minutes putting this estimate together, like, whatever. And you didn't even get in your truck, dude. You were just like, all right, there's 3 types of properties in my town. There's A's, B's, and C's. I want $100 a month for A's. I want $150 for B's. And if C, it's like an estate, it's like in a really richy area, maybe I'll go like check that shit out, just to make sure there's not some crazy hedges or something like that are gonna like really wreck my day. But like that's it. You know what I mean? Like, that's a hack. Like, there's your freaking hack. Like, your landing page hack. But the point is like, if you could hack the landscaping industry, if you could find hacks, pure freaking hacks, just cheat codes, you could win the freaking video game within like one night if you just had all the cheat codes. And like, there's no merit badges for like struggling. Like, there's no like, oh yeah, I ate shit for like 15 years growing my landscape business, and now I have like 95,000 in debt, and like this one mower keeps breaking on me, and this one employee keeps screwing me over, and then like there's no freaking points for that shit. Like, there's points for winning. Like, there's points for like, all right, yeah, I built up a company. I gave it 10 years. I gave it 15 years. I built the thing up. I sold it. I bought some rental properties. I got 4 paid-for rental houses. They put off $5,000 a month, and I'm out of the rat race, baby. Like, I've got $400,000 in cash. I got eight grand a month in residual income, and like, I'm sitting here just doing me, man. Like, just working on my next thing. Like, maybe there's something else you want to do. Like, you look at like a kid like BB&B. Like, you look at Blake. What do you think Blake is doing in 20 years? Like, I don't think Blake is rocking Valley Crest. I don't think he's gonna build a Valley Crest. I think he's gonna build a sick social media company. Like, I think I have no rentals. This is just an idea. This is just hypotheticals. I have no rental properties. I like the idea of rental properties. I like the idea of farmland. I like the idea of leasing farmland. I like land. I like land, not necessarily houses. I've got a little hippie in me, yeah. Like, I like camping land. I'd love to own some recreational land. But like, dude, like, but the landscape industry is a perfect segue into like pool building. Or you look at like Stan. Like Stan has his mowing accounts and this and that, but he's got his demolition stuff. He's got his triaxles. He does pool demolition. Like, like that's like, yeah, exactly. So I can hunt it, like, and so I can just like do whatever I want on it pretty much. And like, I just want land where it's like, I just want freaking ranch. It's got like a big sign up front that just says like, you'll get shot. You know what I mean? Like, I just wanted some seclusion, man. But like, so anyway, those are my thoughts. I'm not going to rant too long on it, but like, if you think about it, like, a guy can go from 1 year to 2 year to 3 year in the industry, have 150 freaking homes, have himself his busted up Bobcat, 1995, 3,000 hour Bobcat, everything's paid for cash. He's got his F-250, and he's just doing Bobcat services for a dude with his time / doing landscape sales. And then he's got his crew. He's got his 3 or 4 guys out there just freaking killing it. And like, dude, that's just 3 years. He could do that 3 more times if he wanted to. And like, that's like, let's say that he's like, nah, I don't want to get any bigger. So he just starts like using his guys on off days to just start growing trees. You know what I mean? Like, what happens if you start growing trees at year 4? And you're like, oh, well, I have to go buy land for this stuff. It's like, no, you just go lease that land. Go get yourself a 10-year lease on some cheap ag land. You go throw in any sort of tree in there, and 10 years later, your income is predictable. And you're like, no, it's not, man. There could be a frost. There could be a hurricane. There could be a tornado. No, dude, you get insurance on that shit. So, like, you just run your costs on it, and you're like, for a fact, whether insurance company's writing you a check or, private sector's writing you a check, you're getting a freaking check. And, like, you can account for it. So that's pretty much what I wanted to share. I did want to talk about the supply rig thing just real quick. I wanted to hit on it because I think that the 3500s, and I like 5500s, I like them. What I like about 3500 is there's a legal gray area. It's a very, very weird legal gray area. I appreciate that, Blake. I hope you're coming down for February, bro. We're about to change the name of this company, baby. It's going to go huge. Hope you're coming down for February 13th. We're going to have a big party. Everybody's invited. If you're in the Florida area, stop on by. So here's what's cool about these 3500s. And this just came about, like, I saw this. So I got the idea for JIT Supply when it was 2008. And I read this I was in college. I was a freshman in college, and I read this article in Lawn and Landscape, which is owned by the GIE people. And I forget the name of the guy. I want to say it was Diamond something Landscape. It was out in Washington State. And he had like 15 employees. And one day he walked in and he was like, fuck this. And he sold off all his shit. And he kept 3 guys. And he went and bought super specialized stuff like mini excavators, skid steer, specialized truck. And he only did his 80-20. So like he only did the 20% of his clients that made up 80% of his annual revenues. And it was just like $50,000 and $100,000 landscapes. Like he just did like 10 a year with 3 people. And he ordered all his materials a month in advance. And I was like, dude, you're running like an $800,000 a year company with like 3 dudes and like some really fancy machines. And no one can really compete with you because like your machinery is just like on point, you know? Like, you know, he's running that Caterpillar, baby. He's running that Caterpillar. And I don't know what he was running. But like, if you think about it, like an F-250 with gooseneck on it and an old Bobcat pretty much costs dollar for dollar what a really nicely equipped lawn rig does, except one's run by 1 guy and one's run by like 3 guys when they're like totally booked out. And like they both make the same revenue, you know? So like it's, you know, and there's like always less Bobcat dudes in a town than there are landscape dudes. And like there's always more landscape dudes to work with than Bobcat dudes. So that's just like a quick hack. Like it may or may not be true for your town, but it's like it's just a super quick hack. It's just one way to think about it. It's like you have, you know, let's say 20,000 invested over here, or you have 20,000 invested over here. Like one of them you need 3 units of labor, one of them you need 1 unit of labor. Like obviously, you know what I mean? Like obviously one's better than the other, but you have to start. Like I'm about foundations. I like my mowing accounts because they give me a foundation, and then you know you build it on and up. I like that, you know. But at some point you're like, I don't even need this anymore. Like we're rocking out. So one thing that I think is really cool is that these 3500s came about, and like I know they've always been on the market, but like dude, Dodge is advertising like 30,000 pounds like legally, like they're like putting their name on it, and they're like, yeah, or Ram or whoever the hell, and Ford, especially Ford, man, they're pushing so hard right now with their new setup, but it's like they're all claiming like 30,000 pounds, and like what airport do I fly? Dude, pickup, dude, E1's got a new exhaust on it, so it's gonna sound like a jet running in the air. Whoosh. It's gonna sound nice. But Tampa, dude, because they got a big oval tunnel. It's gonna sound sweet pulling in there. But like, what's crazy about that is like that's half of a semi. And I like the 3500s because it's a gray area. Like if you're towing like 40,000 pounds, like there's some like negligence that happens there. Like there's some like, oh, I didn't know, because it's not a commercial truck. It's like a residential, you know, it's like a privately owned. Yeah, there's some gray area there. But like the point is like that wasn't around 10 years ago. Like I know guys are like, oh yeah, you can hear that turbo spool, baby. Oh yeah, you can hear it wind up, which is what I'm about. But like, you know, I had a 7.3 diesel before this, and like she towed some weight, but she was a dog. I mean, she was a little slow with some weight behind her. But like, dude, some of these new diesel trucks are just ridiculous. But the point is like today I had 2 Cummins diesels go out, and people ask a Ram owner like, hey man, what do you drive? The Cummins, baby. I drive the Cummins. I saw something on Instagram, the guy's like this, and it's like, you know, that face, and spend 30 minutes and you haven't told anyone you run a Cummins. So like, but we had one go out and do fertilizer accounts today. It pulled like a little 1,500-pound trailer all day. And then one of them D. Woody's truck went out and delivered 40 yards of dirt, and then moved 40 yards of dirt to the location and then spread it with a Bobcat. And it's like, dude, that little truck did 2 triaxle loads today. If a triaxle had been running loads, they might have got 3 or 4 loads, you know, done in the same time that he did. But the point is like, we had an order today for like 2 triaxle loads, and we didn't have to call any triaxles. Like, we just went and did it ourselves. Kept all the cash ourselves, which is freaking sweet. And like, that didn't really exist before. And like the new goosenecks, and I have some beef with the new goosenecks. Like, I want to build my own goosenecks because like there's definitely some issues with the goosenecks. But the point is like, you can mow with that type of truck, you can supply with that type of truck, but a semi can't mow, and an F-150 can't supply, you know? And like, so I think that's kind of freaking sweet. We do offer coaching. Our coaching programs are not going to be out yet until March 15th. So April 1st will be when we're going to take on 10 clients. Cost is going to be relatively expensive. It's going to be very, very secluded. We want to do like a 20x. I got a mentor of mine who says you need to do 10x. Everything you sell someone they need to get 10 times the value of it inside of 1 year for it to be like a total winner. And if you do that all the time, you're going to be huge. But they're probably like consulting is going to be like pretty much I'm going to get out of the delivery truck. I'm going to replace my salary and I'm just going to be freaking rocking Skype sessions and helping dudes have some success because I want to see like I want to run this as a social experiment. I want to just help people hack shit. So I don't have a total dollar value for you, but I do know that our course is probably going to take care of 90% of the people that want to do any of this stuff. And I think the course is going to be like just you don't even need me if you got the course. Like I think the course is just going to be freaking boss. But not to get off track. Because what was wrong with the goosenecks? The goosenecks are... There's a few things wrong with the goosenecks, man. Like, the batteries are weak on them. They need like 4 or 5 batteries. They need to be solar charged. Yes, you can hook that up, but they don't come like that. They need 2 rams, so they go up faster. They need swinging gates. The goosenecks, like I have dumped goosenecks. I have flatbed goosenecks. They need to be 1, so it needs to be a transformer trailer. So it needs to be like twice the price, but can do all of it. So I don't have to go back to my lot to switch trailers, or I don't have to like a guy orders 5 yards of dirt and then 6 pallets of sod. I have to go to the property like twice. Sucks. I can't just like put it all on and like go. And so that's kind of one of the issues. Deez is playing right here. Deez is like, bro, in the pool, Deez. So that is some of my hacks there. I don't want to go too long. I will. Deez actually went in the pool. Dang it. And so I don't want to go too long. I don't want to rock you guys like Blake rocks you guys. But I want to just point out some of the examples of following a solid SOP. For example, you go from a subject line towing continued, more tows, systems, sales, guns, copsters, and landscapes. When you're a scout sniper leader. And your brother's a freaking Black Hawk pilot. Like, of course that's going to get people on your Periscope. And of course that's a kick-ass name. But all that is just is a Periscope hack. It's just freaking name your shit with a catchy title, and have something interesting at the beginning of your scope. But I think the same can be done with the whole process. So I see the landscape, I see businesses all in general as like a start and a finish. And I think you can cut out a lot of this fat. I just don't believe in the whole struggle through to get, like, I just believe, like, do the work, but go around and just, like, get the results. And so, anyway, that's my hack tonight. If you guys are thinking about websites, check out landing pages. That's an actionable. So if you get nothing out of this, landing pages is possibly an actionable. I'll have more on that later. Again, I'd like to use my, go watch his scope, and then watch his first scope, because he scoped like 6 times today. He's a little heavy on the trigger, Mr. Sniper Boy. He's a little heavy on the trigger. I think if I scoped 6 times in a day, I'd start dropping followers like so fast. Because sometimes, like some kid said, I don't know who it was, but he was like, I can't shit without getting a Periscope notification, which is freaking so true. Luke, I shared it today. I think I shared it. Blake can hit it up right now. If Blake can hit it in the comments. Yeah, it's like Luke _ it was landscape that, but then he switched it up. So like I think the username, I think he might edit that in the future. But Blake will hopefully post it. And Blake shared it. So if you guys go to BB Lawn Care, follow him. I think he's like the leader right now. He just crossed 500 accounts. He was at 500 subscribers. He was at 499 last night, and I was considering unfollowing Blake just so that he wouldn't hit his goal. But then he hit 502, and I was like, fuck. So anyway, that is all for tonight. I'm going to peace out. This has turned into a Blake rant. So y'all have a good night. I will see you guys later. Peace out.